This artist was accused of using AI, but they claim to not be. Let's break this down. So the artist in question is Alice Vu, who is a concept designer on Twitter, and they drew Viet Miku. So if you guys don't know, Hatsune Miku is a Vocaloid and a very, very popular character. There has been a trend recently to draw Hatsune Miku in clothing and in the environment of your background and culture. And it all started with Brazil Miku that got extremely popular. So a lot of people were putting their own spins, and I saw this on my timeline when it first came out. If we look at this piece, this is Viet Miku, and she is absolutely gorgeous. So pretty, so beautiful, and floating amongst a whole bunch of lily pads. And this piece was a commission for Twitter user Akuno Matata, and Alice attached progress photos as well. So the first photo is a basic sketch where they sketch out the face and the rest of the body, and the elements are much looser. Then it is a very, very fleshed out line work piece. And then we have the grayscale color for it, with some of the parts already colored in, like the head, hair, eyes, and torso. And then we can see the fully rendered piece. Then Alice also added some close-ups, like this gorgeous frog. I also love the little bubbly fish down here. Then we have another duck, some more ducks. Oh, there's like a small little baseball cap on this duck. Another koi fish. And the add step 3, that is indeed something that I want to achieve someday, to be able to render so cleanly. Alice says, TBH, I skipped so many steps until that LMAO, I just managed to find these work in progresses. And everybody is being super sweet and giving a lot of support. And then we have people like Emily, aka Bane, writing, I think more breakdown from 3 to 4 or layered files of backgrounds will explain it better, probably referring to the art process. But then we have people like Lucarin stating, always amazing to see people posting breakdown only to prove of using AI for commission. Lovely 6 toes, foot, and generic lighting. Almondeer writes, I simply don't understand it. It's obvious that you're good at drawing. Why would you still use AI for the rendering? Alice says, what do you mean? This piece was done 100% by me and my art team. Why would I use AI when I have full capability to render high complexity work? Almondeer says, using AI filters to render an artwork could make the drawing easier, but it's extremely unethical if you're doing a commercial work. I can imagine how disappointing it is for a commissioner to get art partially made by AI instead of their favorite artist. Alice adds, I think there's some misunderstanding here. I don't use any filters. These are not good representations of the work process. They're basically work in progress and then it's just screenshot, but there's no way you can get from pick 2 to pick 3 just like that. There's about 50 more steps in between. So I think Alice is thinking that Almond is like, oh, you went from this to this, and there's no steps in between, and the jump is too big, so it has to be AI. Other people are accusing the amount of toes, which is actually, if you look on this foot, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toes on the left foot. But if you look at the right foot, there is actually 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is partially why some people are feeling like this piece is AI. The other reason that people are stating this is AI is because of the generic lighting. And I will say generic lighting is a reason why people will accuse pieces of being AI, because there's some tendencies that AI do. AI art has a lot of tendencies, and we can quickly go over those tendencies. One, AI art uses generic lighting everywhere. Okay, so here is an AI generated piece of Hatsune Miku. It hurts my soul to have to even look this up, but I'm just doing it for an example for those of you guys who are visual learners, right? This piece is lit up from everywhere. There's no really direct light source, right? Like she is lit from the back because the back of her head is highlighted, but also the sides of her hair is highlighted, but also the side of her leg is highlighted. So like, is there a light source coming here? Is there a top down light source? But her boobs and the front of the tie is also lit up as well as the face. So is there some front on light source? So this is the point that I'm trying to make, where AI tends to use very, very generic lighting where everything is highlighted and it looks potentially pretty on first glance. And then you do like think a little bit and you're like, wait, but where exactly are the light sources? So Alice's piece, I mean, does have a lot of lighting. This foot is lit up from some angle, and so is the face, and the chest is also very well lit, but so is the back of the hair, so is the size of the duck. So there is a whole bunch of different like lighting angles from it, which is something you will find in AI art, as well as wrong limbs, as in like the incorrect number of fingers and toes. That's also something you'll find in AI as well. That is also something you can find from human artists too. So those on its own do not necessarily indicate that AI was used. It can potentially point to it. The big thing is all about context and viewing everything as a whole, as this Miku piece alongside other pieces that Alice has made. I also do want to point out one thing as to why I do not feel like this piece is AI. Okay, let's open this a little bit larger. AI is very, very bad at drawing details. So if we go over here to our AI Hatsune Miku, if we look at the background, in first glance, oh, this is just, you know, like a city street, whatever. But if we look a little bit closer, all the fine details don't make a lot of sense, like the background elements. Not to mention her whole ponytail thing is all busted up. This looks like it should be a bus stop, but it is also not a bus stop because there's not enough legs to complete it. Is this like a cross hatching for the side of the road? Doesn't make very much sense either. There's like a poster thing on the building. Like these windows don't line up properly. There's a crack going down this building, which is oof. But if we look at Alice's piece here, all of the background fine detail is also very well rendered. This frog is very well rendered. All of the flowers make sense. There's each individual petal for the flowers, where AI tends to like blur flowers together because it's not good at doing that. Even under the water, you can see the faint hues of koi fish, which is really cute. Another very well rendered frog. Look down here, you can see again more koi fish elements, more flowers that are very individually and well rendered. A duck with a leaf on its head, which is very intentional. AI is very poor at drawing fine details because it's not human art. It is art that is made from a bot. The issue that comes with that is it's not capable of putting that human touch, that those fine details that makes a human piece, a piece made by a person, look so alive and vivid. But you know, that leaf on the head of the duck, the blush, etc. Those are things that an actual person would add, not an AI bot. Could there be some elements maybe that are AI? I don't want to be super nitpicky here, right? But this ear does not connect to the head. So we see this ear here, but then the chin goes in like this. So where exactly is the ear coming from? But I'm assuming this could be user error. I'm trying to give benefit of the doubt. Same thing with the toes. Sometimes you just actually draw an extra limb, right? But one thing I do want to note is the earring. Very, very detailed. Like each individual petal is fully fleshed out. Also, AI has an issue with continuation where if one element were to disappear behind another, it would then not reappear again. And hair strands will bleed into each other. And I don't see those issues with the hair itself here. And I will say for the floating ear, I think it's just like user error maybe, because if you see in the sketch, right, it does kind of look like the ear potentially makes sense. But then as it becomes line work, okay, the ear is still there. And then as it starts getting rendered, okay, the ear moved out further a little bit. But I think that's probably just user error. I do want to also mention one more thing that leads me to think this is not AI artwork is the fact that these steps are all a little bit different. Because here we can see the sketching process with all these other elements they decided to draw in, like the ducks, the flowers, you know, the lily pads, whatever. She's posed like this on the side. You see the very fine sketches. And then when it comes to the actual line work, there was some modifications to this. You know, the foot is now facing the side. This foot is facing the way it was. There's some changes to it because that shows you the thinking process that the artist did, where it was like, oh, let's try this sketch. Okay, I don't like the way the foot was posed. Let me turn it a little bit here. And then here you can see there's more changes again. The foot was then turned a little bit. This to me tells me that it was like a human making some changes for AI purposes. Also be the AI generating it slightly different every time, but I am not as inclined to think that was the case. But Alice went on Twitter and then put out an apology. So it's a really large chunk of text. I'm just gonna read this out for you guys. So Alice writes, "Hi all, sorry for the sudden black letter on white background message. I figured I couldn't fit everything in Twitter, so I'm writing it here. First of all, thank you so much for your love and support to my newest painting. I had a lot of fun painting it, especially the water and the wetness, hee hee hee. Unfortunately, I've noticed a lot of AI comments and people claiming the art to be AI. I'm not here to criticize anyone because it's a free world out here, but such quick assumption can be harmful to an artist's integrity and credibility. As a human, I tend to make mistakes quite often. It's usually not a big deal, and I really appreciate people pointing it out so I can fix it, but to claim my human error to be a product of AI is quite saddening. I've spent years studying art. What I've achieved today is definitely not an overnight process. If y'all scroll down, you can definitely see my old artworks and see how my paintings improved over time. I love art and I love painting, and I always put a lot of time and effort into all of my artwork and commission pieces. To see people claiming that it's AI is quite hurtful. All of my hard work, all of my study gets reduced to something that can be made with a click of a button. I know AI technique has become very advanced. There are AI pictures that you can't even tell it's AI. I know the feeling you guys have towards the tech, and I also have my fair share of fear and doubt too. However, to go around claiming that people's hard works are AI is very hurtful. I know I'm not the only one who experienced this, so all I ask is please be kind with each other. Before making wild claims, please communicate with us. I'm always grateful for your feedback. And if I have time, I'll try to answer your questions. I know you're just trying to protect artists, and I really appreciate that, but please be kind. Just be communicative instead of making rash assumptions. I want to say thank you for everybody who has been with me through my art journey, watch me grow through the years. I'm so thankful for all of you. And for those who doubt the authenticity of my work, please watch over me. Be communicative. Art should be fun, and it should bring people together. Thank you so much again for all of your love and support. I'm so grateful for everyone. I'll always pray for your health, protection, and happiness." So yeah, sorry, I called it an apology. It's a statement. It's not an apology. I misworded that. But yeah, about that, let's take a look at Alice's other art pieces because they've been making art for a really long time. Here they have this amazing, gorgeous piece of Ryuko, and this looks beautiful as well. Here, there's this piece they made for Mahjong Soul with a lot of different characters. And again, I do want to point out there's a lot of elements here that would indicate it's made by a human artist. Again, take a look at all of the fine details like the poster, the cat in the cloud, the little duck floaty in the back. Here we have this piece made for Azir Lane. Look at the little chickies with hats in the corners, the chickie on her lap, correct number of fingers here. Ear is attached to head, and all of the fine details of the character's accessories are done perfectly. Nothing is looking weird. There's keys attached to her side. Oh my gosh, she did Nikki art? Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so here is some artwork that Alice made about Rosanna and Sakura for Nikkei. And again, this artwork is really pretty. One thing I do want to point out is Rosanna has a tattoo on her arm. AI is not good at drawing tattoos because it's, again, fine, intricate details. It will always screw it up. Tattoo is drawn perfectly. The detailing in the hair clips is all individually drawn. Look at the background detail again. We have cute little jellyfish. So the two little jellyfish look like they're kind of dancing with each other. Everything is done with intention. Here we have another piece, fan art made for Evania. I am so sorry. I'm really bad with names. Again, we can take a look at this piece here. Everything looks like it's drawn very, very, very well. The rendering of the skin. And again, you can see here that the excessive highlight, excessive light source is actually something that is part of Alice's art style. It is something you will find in multiple and if not all of her pieces. So it is her art style. We look again, right? The cute little frog that's drawn. All of the details of the leaves is very well rendered. The cute bird in the background. All of the background detail like the waterfalls is also well rendered. It's not some weird like blobs because for backgrounds, AI just tends to slap a whole bunch of blobs. And on first glance far away, it might make sense, but when you look closer, it doesn't make any sense anymore. But close up or far, the waterfalls are still looking really, really pretty. All of the fine detail like jewelry looks really good too. So none of this so far is looking like AI. I'm picking and choosing Alice's pieces and they all look really good. Here again, Alice also does tutorials. Alice has a tutorial on how to render pink hair. And as you can see, if you follow the tutorial step by step, you end up with hair that looks exactly like Alice's normal art style, which I will also bookmark because this is a good tutorial. As you can see, Alice has a consistency in their artwork that you can find piece by piece, and a lot of the elements that may look AI is actually just Alice's art style in general. But going back to the statement Alice made, Alice wrote, "Y'all are too nice, but it's hella late, so I promise I'll come back and reply to all of your comments. Y'all made my night. I'm truly blessed." Shoyuki adds, "Your art is gorgeous. It does make me sad that your art has probably been used to train AI, which are leading some people to think your art is AI. Keep your head up and the amazing work." And that is also something that is really true that I want to point out. AI is generated off of human artists' work. The human artists that are used to train AI will inevitably have similarities to AI because their artwork was used to train AI. And Alice looks like an extremely talented and proficient artist who I would not be surprised if their art was yoinked to train AI models. Alcanimate adds, "Your art has always been amazing, Alice. I'm sorry you had to go through this." Mochi Sai says, "You've been around for so long doing amazing art. There's no way it's AI. I feel like people jump to that so quickly now, and it really sucks to see good artists get dragged because their art is mistakenly flagged as AI. So sorry you're dealing with this. I love your art." Alice adds, "Plus all my college tuition better pays off, LMAO. I didn't pay an arm and a leg to study art to get low quality pieces." Petite Poise adds, "To be honest, the best way to show people that your artwork is indeed not AI is either with a speed paint of one of your art or just drawing live on Twitch or YouTube." Alice says, "I know, but I love to draw in solidarity so much. I did stream before, but I found out I like working on my own a lot more. I'll try to do more tutorial and art breakdowns. TBH, I never thought I need to prove I was the one who drew my own drawings. Wild times we live in nowadays." So yeah, I do agree that is the best way to prove that your art is not AI, but I do feel like Alice has so much work that we can just go down their page, take a look and be like, hey man, you know, there's a lot of examples of really nice looking art here. I do think it's interesting they mentioned that the artwork was completed by them and their team. I know webtoon artists typically will have a team that will help them complete the panels. I'm just curious about how that works from an actual individual artist perspective where you have like your own brand. I'm just nosy and curious about how that process works. But from looking at these pieces, I'm sorry this happened to Alice. Their Miku piece looks gorgeous. And of course, there's human ears with like, you know, a floating ear or like an extra toe you add. But the rest of their pieces, if you look through their art history, it looks really good and does not look like AI to me. But I'm just curious as to your thoughts. Do you think Alice's piece was made with AI? Do you think they're just a human artist that was unfortunately accused of AI because people nowadays accuse everyone of using AI? Anyways, if you liked this video, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. As of filming, we've hit 80K on YouTube, which is really crazy. 100K by the end of this year. Fingers crossed. And I hope to catch you guys on Twitch. I do stream 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope to catch you guys there or in another one of my videos.